If you're thinking about buying a house in 2022, these are the 5 things you need to know before you even start. The first thing you need to know before you start your home search if you're going to buy a house in 2022 is understanding the difference between deceleration and depreciation. See, if you listen to the media and you watch the news, they're telling you that home prices are decelerating. What they're not telling you is the difference between deceleration and depreciation. Deceleration only means that the home prices aren't going to increase in value as much. Depreciation means that the asset, the house, loses value. So over the next 6-12 months, we're still going to see home prices appreciate, probably 5 to 7%. But what we're not going to see is 5 to 7% a month. If you're buying a home in 2022, this is the second tip that you need to know. Homes aren't going to get less expensive, and rates aren't going to go down. If you've watched the news, the Fed has said over again that they're going to be increasing rates, and they have. This is the fastest rate increase we've seen in decades. The beginning of 2022, rates were at about 3.5%, and today they're close to 6%. So what we're going to see is that the homes aren't going to get less expensive. The appreciation is going to be about 5 to 7% annually, which is traditionally what it is. And rates, they're not going to go down. If anything, they're going to start to tick up a little bit, and you might see some fall off here and there, maybe week by week. But overall, rates are going to stay about where they're at, if not get to that 6.5% mark. The third tip, if you're going to buy a home in 2022, is this. Over the last 6 recessions that we've seen as a country, home values have increased 4 of those last 6 recessions. What's interesting about this is most people, when they think of recession, they instantly go back in their minds to 2008. And what's interesting about 2008 is it wasn't a real estate recession. It was a global economic crisis where we saw home values decrease by 20%. In recessions, historically speaking, home values actually go up. So if you're looking at this opportunity in a recession to get a great deal, what you're probably going to find is that home values are going to appreciate, your rate is going to continue to go up, and the deal in the market is simply going to be getting the house. The fourth thing to know if you're going to buy a home in 2022 is understanding supply and demand and that it is still very much at play. Basic economics. Now, I'm not an economist, right? I graduated with broadcast communications. I can't do very good math. But what I do understand is basic supply and demand. And when the supply is high, generally that means demand is low. And when supply is low, that generally means that demand is high. And in this current real estate market, the amount of homes that are currently available are low, and the demand, the buyer demand in particular areas is high. Now, when supply and demand comes into place and supply is low and demand is high, prices go up. And when supply is high and demand is low, prices go down. So as you look at the homes that you're looking at in the market, understand that if there's not a lot of houses for sale in that general area, the chances are that price is going to be up, and so is the buyer demand. The fifth tip, if you're planning on buying a home in 2022, is this. Who you work with matters. There are good agents and there are bad agents. There are good title companies and bad title companies. Good mortgage companies and bad mortgage companies. For you. I'm not here to tell you who to work with. But what I am here to tell you is that you need to work with an agent, a lender, and a title company that fits you and your needs. That cares about you, not their pocketbook. That cares about getting you the best deal in the least amount of time, with the least amount of headaches. That understands how to negotiate in this market. That understands that when a great house comes on the market, they get you in it right away, not when it's convenient for them. Who you work with matters. The times they are a-changin'. But one thing that we need to know and that you need to know if you're planning on buying a house in 2022 is that you can't let the biggest purchase of your life to chance. You need quality, you need experience, and you need the Cleveland Home Specialists.